It's on today's breakfast show. We're looking at several hot topics, one of which Akpabio defends tax reform bill says a less than 30% pay tax currently. Another top trending story we're discussing much later in the show is stakeholders demand government loans TED fund for private universities. We'll also be taking global stories that made it to the front pages of our national dailies, as well as some top trending stories. But first, let's see our quote of the day. And our quote says, the art challenges the technology and the technology inspires the art. And that is according to John Lasseter as a director. And he says this morning, the art challenges the technology and the technology inspires the art. You can get inspiration from anything, anywhere. In fact, life itself is art. And so every day you wake up and you're like, how can I change things? How can I make things better? And that's how technology was even formed in the first place.
It tells you that everything, especially the things that you feel are abstract, are things that can actually translate into something physical for us. There's so many things that were involved in novels that were written a long time ago. Novels are part of the art, and then these things are now part of the things that we call technology today because they are translated into that. I'm sure the only thing that we have not seen in what was inspired by some works of art is time travel. We're waiting for that to see.
Oh, which you have, do you know if it has happened already?
Well, we've not been told.
Well,
if time travel is happening, it may have happened, but it's not something that
is out there and everybody is in the open that everybody knows
because
about.
We see some crazy photographs of photographs that were taken a long time ago that had things that should have been in the 21st century.
Or even people. And you're like, doppelganger?
Yeah. So let's wait and see.
Speaking about abstract, do you ever look into a painting that is abstract and you're like, what does this mean? But someone can just come and say, oh, I see brush strokes that mean this and that, and you're wondering.
I think that's crazy. I never understand the art lovers because there are a lot of things that they see and value, and I'm like, okay.
What does this mean? Someone explain to me.
There was a time that someone forgot his glasses on the floor, and the people in the art gallery were thinking that it was a masterpiece until he came back and found it. And another time, someone was just, I don't know whether he was tired with his banana and he stuck it to the wall.
No, it was actually a proper art, and they paid a lot of money.
And then after that, they ate it.
Right. I saw a video of a man. He had like buckets of sand, and then he just pulled a string, and all the buckets came tumbling down with the sand, and everybody was clapping. Oh my God, this is amazing! I can never understand, but I'm sure people in the art community, you definitely get it. But with our quote of the day, it says that the art inspires technology. So every day we see something, and we're like, we want to make it into technology. We want to make our lives better, which is great. All right, let's move over to our top trending stories. This first one says Nigeria is set to secure more energy investments in 2025. Special advisor on energy to President Bola Tinubu, Oluvehergen, has highlighted Nigeria's growing attractiveness for final investment decisions, FIDs, in the energy sector. Speaking at the Nigerian International Energy Summit 2025, she revealed that Nigeria secured 3 out of Africa's 4 FIDs in 2024, valued at over $5.5 billion. She attributed the success to key reforms, including 3 presidential directives issued in 2024 to eliminate investment barriers. These initiatives led to major commitments such as the Ubeta FID through a Total JV and Shell's Bonga North FID approval, reinforcing Nigeria's status as a leading deep offshore oil and gas investment hub. Well, Olu noted that despite losing $80 billion in potential investment over the past decade due to regulatory instability and an incompetitive fiscal framework, the Tinubu administration has improved security and introduced a data-driven security framework to protect oil-producing regions. This has boosted oil production by 500,000 barrels per day, with a goal of reaching 2.06 million barrels per day soon and 4 million barrels per day by 2030. Additionally, 5 major asset acquisitions in 2024 have reintegrated local expertise with international capital, enhancing efficiency in resource extraction. Beyond oil and gas, Olu emphasized that Nigeria's commitment to power sector reforms, expanding domestic refining and improving electrification. She cited that the presidential metering initiative, which aims to deploy 7 million smart meters to end estimated billion and improve electricity distribution. The government is also addressing debts owed to gas suppliers and implementing cost-reflective tariffs with targeted subsidies to create a financially stable energy sector. She concluded that these reforms will position Nigeria as a key driver of Africa's industrial revolution, ensuring a long-term economic resilience and prosperity. I mean, the president has been looking for foreign investment, so
yeah, well,
we're seeing some of it play out.
Well, I applaud the federal government if they've been able to secure $5.5 million dollars, but what we lost in 10 years was an average of $8 million dollars per. Is it million or billion dollars per year? But it's better than nothing. My concern is that these pronouncements, so many times we've seen them, that they don't happen. If we say, we hear, we plan to do this, we plan to do that, and it never happens, it just gives me worry. For instance, at an international summit, an international event, our president went and said that we were going to secure 100 buses till now. We've not seen it 2 years on. And all these things, presidential metering initiative and all that, we know the power sector as a sector that is very greedy. A community doesn't have electricity, they buy their own transformer, right. They buy their meters and as soon as they finish buying those things, including the cables, the electricity company comes, installs them, and starts collecting money.
Yeah. You even pay for, it's almost like a licensing thing. Yeah. You pay to actually have your own transformer.
So nothing like, okay, for the first 3 months, because you spent money, you're not paying anything. They just begin
some level of subsidy.
It's crazy. But my concern is, while they're talking about these investments coming in and all that, and trying to expand the extraction and production of oil to 2.06% million barrels per day. My concern is, how much have they addressed the issues in the Niger Delta region? Because when they thought about going back to explore more oil, we know that there was a problem that made them to stop exploring oil in the Niger Delta region, and they've not addressed those issues, the cleaning up of the environment and every other thing that was.
No, but you know, they went to the Ogoni region and they were having conversations.
Have they resolved it?
Well, sort of.
They're still because the concerns are still valid till now. These people are suffering because that is their means of livelihood. They are an agrarian community, they are a fishery community, so to speak, and all that. Their waters are destroyed, their farmlands are destroyed, and you're not doing something deliberate about that to ensure or to assure them that if you begin exploration again, these things will not happen. Yeah. And there's no assurance.
Because you're destroying their waters, and of course, there's even aside the fact that you're destroying the environment, there's still the oil theft. So if we're even saying 2.06 million barrels per day, how are we sure? Because till now, we cannot really, I mean, this is on paper right now, but we cannot really ascertain how much we actually get every day in Nigeria.
We don't respect data in Nigeria.
We don't know anything.
Whatever they tell us, I just look at them and I'm like, okay, how did you know? Because data in Nigeria is not something that is respected. People don't know. Maybe they don't know the value of data. Maybe they don't know the value of data, or they just deliberately don't want us to have it, because when we do, we would know what is going on.
We can make you accountable. Yeah.
Beautiful.
And honestly, I feel like execution is a major problem. So I'm happy that, I mean, out of 5 for Africa, they got 4. Great.
Out of 4, they got 3.
Oh, sorry, out of 4, they got 3. Great. But then execution is what we want to see, because we don't want a situation whereby you come and you have a summit and everybody clap for themselves. Oh, well done. And at the end of the day, how is it going to benefit Nigerians? How is it going to benefit the people that you're going to explore oil in their own regions? And ensuring that no matter what you do, because, I mean, Shell is involved, Total is involved. I'm sorry, if it was in the United States of America or if it was in the UK, would you go around there, if they had, would you go around there exploring and you would never think about the environment, you never think about climate change? For crying out loud, everybody talks about the ecosystem and how you have to preserve it. But sometimes it just feels like because it's in Nigeria, certain things can just,
anything goes.
yes, it just goes. And because even your government is not doing their there to ensure that there are laid down rules to follow, that if you're going to come and you have a JV with us, great. I mean, you get a certain percentage of it all, but make sure that these are the guidelines that you have to follow to ensure that these communities are still okay. Because I don't even think they're even compensated. I don't even think they're even compensated enough for the amount of dirt and sewage and whatever it is that they do there in exploration.
The painful thing is that in these documents, I'm sure all these things are there.
But the execution is a problem.
Our own people will sabotage it because of selfish reasons. And then because there is no actual monitoring, anything goes. So long as money can change hands, anything goes. And that's the worrisome thing. Our people sometimes are the sellouts that make other people come into our country and do whatever they want to do because they are greedy, they're selfish and all that. And people are dying. Well, let's just move to the next one. Federal government wants motorists overspeeding on Third Mainland Bridge is what we're looking at. The federal government has raised concerns over excessive speeding by motorists on a newly rehabilitated Third Mainland Bridge in Lagos. Minister of Works, Senator David Umahi, speaking at a stakeholders engagement for the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway project, warned that if reckless driving persists, the government may be forced to install speed bumps, which could cause significant traffic congestions. He emphasized the CCTV cameras have been installed on the bridge and activities are being monitored remotely from Abuja. Umahi revealed that rehabilitation efforts have extended to Falomo with street lights and additional surveillance cameras installed to enhance safety. He assured Lagos residents that the government remains committed to maintaining the bridge's integrity and enforcing traffic regulations. The minister also disclosed that officials will be on standby to monitor footage and enforce speed limits, ensuring that road users comply with safety. The minister urged motorists to exercise caution to prevent potential accidents and disruptions. He reiterated that the CCTV system will soon be inaugurated, allowing real-time monitoring and enforcement of regulations. With the government's heightened surveillance, Umahi stressed the importance of responsible driving to preserve the newly upgraded infrastructure and ensure smoother traffic flow.
The truth is, on Third Mainland Bridge, I think the speed limit is, 80, if I'm not mistaken. But you see people driving up to 120 miles per hour. And I remember when it was first constructed, I think there was a bus that had an accident with another vehicle. And the reason was because the road was newly constructed. So it's smooth. And you're just driving. You don't even realize how far or how fast you're going on it. And if we're not going to be careful, because where are you going to? Why are you running? Why are you running? Like, reckless driving is a major thing in Nigeria. And I know they're saying they want to install CCTV cameras, but I hope that they really do monitor it.
For now, it's being monitored in Abuja.
I was about to say that you're saying you want to monitor it remotely in Abuja. So when the person is already going so fast, what happens? So if you're not going to have marshals right there, or ensure that people are having tickets. And the truth is, we don't even have data. So how do you even write a ticket to a person? If it was in the UK, you get your ticket in the mail. Like, it's going to be sent to you and you have to pay it. But in Nigeria, we do not have such information. So how do we monitor these things and how do we ensure that reckless driving, because there are so many accidents that happen on that road, is ridiculous. There are people who even hit the culverts, almost falling into the water, but it's just because they're speeding too much. And it is right there. All the lanes have the speed limit. You see the 80, you see the 60, you see the 40, depending on the lane that you're supposed to be on. But you're still driving as fast as 120 or even 150. Why are you running?
First of all, I'd like to tell the federal government, don't put speed bumps on the bridge.
No, that would be disastrous.
Yes, we know that people overspeed, but you know, in Nigeria, it's just when you know that the enforcement is not there, you can do anything that you like. But there are creative ways that you can use to make sure that people adhere to the speed limit that you're talking about. For instance, you talked about marshals being on ground. When we see people who are in uniform that are there that can enforce it, it will be...
And you know that that's their job. That's the reason why they're there.
Yes,
so.
And one or two people have the ticket. You'll find out that this speed limit will be
others will follow suit. Yeah.
There used to be a time where people in Lagos State would jump through the window to enter a bus. Today, people stand on a queue. And if you tell people who knew about Lagos before now that this is what is happening in Lagos, they don't believe it. Like, Lagos, can that ever happen? People stand in a queue waiting for a bus in Lagos. A bus stops in front and reverses to come and take a passenger. It was not happening like
Before
this
you
the
will
last
run,
20 years.
Molwe.
Yes, it wasn't happening. So there are creative ways when some things are available, and then we see that, okay, whatever you're doing right now, it's useless. You're not showing off that like you're a better person if you're doing this. Then you begin to pipe down and see that, okay, let me do what is in vogue. Let me do what is right. Like they waiting for a bus and like. So there are creative ways. It's not just, I've seen something is bad, let me ban it. I've seen something they're using.
You're going
ban it.
to the extreme measures.
No, there are creative ways that you can use to say or to make people comply. So let them think about the creative ways. One of that is let the marshals be there. Let them be sure that
Abuja thing might not be able to work.
people are booked for whatever they have done wrong, and they are punished accordingly, and not because you know this person or is a big man, he can do what he wants to do and all that. He's driving a big and flashy car.
If you're going to the airport, leave early. Because that would be some people's excuses, like, oh, I'm running late for a meeting, I'm going to the airport. Please leave early. You don't have to overspeed, because guess what? In driving, I have to be a defensive driver because almost everybody in Lagos that is driving, they are all mad. So why? Now I'm driving and I'm looking, I'm sorry, you're not just putting your own life at risk, you're also putting my own life at risk. So it's important that everybody drive with a good amount of sanity.
But I think, to be fair to even the crazy drivers, there were more accidents when the bridge was bad than now. But the bottom line is we want no accident to happen on that road at all. So let us not say because there were more accidents we can be reckless. Recklessness can cause us something really great. Maybe it's just waiting to happen, but let it not be your responsibility. Let it not be because of you as a driver that it happened.
Exactly. All right, our final top trending story says, IPMan threatens strike over impounded tankers. The Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria, IPMan Southwest Zone, has threatened to shut down fuel stations if the 30 tankers impounded by the Lagos State government are not released. IPMan Western Zone Chairman Joseph Akani stated that the tankers, each carrying 45,000 liters of petrol, were seized by LASMA at Dangote Refinery on February 22, 2025, and moved to Oshodi. Akani criticized the Lagos Ministry of Transport, warning that detaining fuel-laden tankers in an enclosed location poses a fire hazard. We also alleged that fuel was being siphoned from the tankers and insisted that safety regulations require detained trucks to offload their content first. IPMan stands in solidarity with NUPENG, PTD, and NATO, calling the arrest illegal. If the Lagos government fails to act, IPMan will shut down petrol stations across Southwest, potentially causing fuel shortages and higher prices. The association insists that the seized tankers belongs to its members and is demanding immediate intervention to prevent a full-blown crisis. First things first, is already even affecting network, telecoms, operators, because the one thing that they even said was the fact that they cannot get diesel going into their stations, right? And because of that, because they need diesel, they need power, right now we probably might be experiencing some level of network glitch because of that. So seeing this, if they're going to have a potential strike, I don't know what's going to happen everywhere. Because when I was driving yesterday, I saw that some of the gas stations, some of the fuel stations were already filled. One did not open this morning. Normally they open at 6 a.m. and you're wondering why they are not opened. So I'm already seeing a semblance of, fuel shortages in Lagos. So I don't know what's going to happen.
I read that report. I read that report, and I didn't see what the tanker drivers actually did. I just heard that they were arrested, and removed from the Dangote refinery where they went to load this fuel. So what was their crime? Maybe it's one-sided. Let LASMA tell us why they had to take that risk to arrest more than 30 tankers and keep in one place.
That's
One is a danger
disaster.
on its own, and you're keeping up to 30 and above. So what if something happens
Imagine
there?
an explosion.
It's going to be really, really crazy, because it's not going to be only the last mile office. Everywhere
around that
it
environment,
will be like an atomic bomb, more or less. So whatever the case is, according to this report also, even if there's an infraction, even if there's a crime, if a tanker is laden with fuel, you let it offload
Empty
first.
the contents.
Empty it, do the arrest that you want to do. But again, it goes back to the data and everything that we're talking about. When someone has already gone, how are you going to find him and then to book him and to make him pay? But there should be a system that can make them do
The truth is, we have to start
dangerous.
from, you see with this data thing, we have to start from somewhere, right? In the little last mile office, you say, okay, we want to do our own bit. In Ministry of Transportation, you say we want to do our own bits. Ministry of Works, whatever it is, everybody just have to do their own bit. But the truth is, putting 30 tankers, you're not even thinking of the potential hazard that you're causing.
It's crazy.
Why? Why are you going to arrest 30 of them? And okay, at least let them know what their crime is. Let them sort it out. These people, they need to send out these, because there are people that are waiting for this content. There are people that are waiting for fuel, and they're not going to have it.
And whatever the crime was, it also tells us that if we had deliberately done something about our railway system, we wouldn't have needed all these tankers. You know, tankers should have been, okay, there's fuel going to Calabar. There are tankers waiting in Calabar to distribute to the various filling stations, rather than taking all the way from maybe Lagos or Port Harcourt to Kaduna State and all that. It's not
I feel
good.
like there
That's
has
why
to
we're
be a
seeing all
better
these
way.
things.
Yeah,
So
there has to be a better way when it comes to transporting fuel in Nigeria. We just haven't thought about it, you know, critically, but I'm sure there are people who maybe have ideas, and consult with these people. Pipelines should work. I want to believe it should definitely work. Anyhow, this is where we have to wrap it up on this segment right now. We'll go on a short break. We look at the weather. When we return, we'll be looking at the stories on our national dailies. Please stay with us.